household chore that is just taking up way too much brain space. It's taken up way too much energy, thought. We beat ourselves up over it, and that's... Hi friend, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joey. I am a full-time work from home, stay-at-home mama, an author, and the person who's here to encourage you to become the main character in your own life. I actually have my phone with me today because I have notes for today's video because I want to share with you 25 things that I wish I knew sooner. Some of them are practical things like about household chores. Some of them are perspective shifts that over the last, I would say for like the last 5 or 6 years, I've been very much on a journey of like uncovering truths about things. And these truths have helped my perspective to shift in a way that enhances the way that I experience my day to day. So I want to share those things with you today, and there's a lot of them, so let's go ahead and get started. And I am going to be looking down at my phone occasionally. If you think that's rude, I'm very sorry. I don't memorize things well. You are allowed to like yourself. In fact, you should like yourself. And if you don't like yourself, you're allowed to work on who you are until you get to a place where you're happy with the person that you are. I don't know why we were all taught that like liking ourselves was a bad thing or selfish. And I think especially for my generation, I'm a millennial, we believe that like there's some kind of award or medal for being like self-deprecating and not respecting ourselves. But that's a little truth that I've learned, is that you are allowed to like yourself, and in fact, you really, really should. Okay, this next one is gonna come as no surprise because it's something I say pretty often, especially if you used to follow my blog back in the day, but confidence comes from doing. A lot of times we get really stuck in our heads because we think we're going to find the confidence to do something, but in reality, the inaction breeds insecurity. All right, the next one is gonna reveal my age a little bit, but it's that in 20 years, you're gonna think back on this current season of your life and long for it in some way, shape, or form. Setting boundaries is just a way to show yourself the same respect that you show others. Number 5, nothing changes if nothing changes. Number 6 is one that I have to constantly remind myself. Not doing something for the fear of failure is a guaranteed way to fail. Okay, number 7 is a hard one to swallow. Amazing things start to happen in your life when you become very honest with yourself. And I mean like actually honest with yourself. We tend to tell ourselves stories about the situations and circumstances that we're in, and facing the truth, facing the honest facts is a lot of times really uncomfortable and really hard. But the change that comes from facing those facts and swallowing them and absorbing them and processing them and moving forward with understanding is so enormous. In fact, I wish there are hard conversations that I've had recently that I wish I would have had ages ago. It would have saved me a lot of pain and suffering and probably a lot of tissues. This is not like life advice. This is more just practicality and a perspective shift when it comes to like a household chore that we all have to do. Nobody is exempt from this household chore. And if you are also a mom, it's probably a household chore that is just taking up way too much brain space. It's taken up way too much energy, thought. We beat ourselves up over it, and that's laundry. And I experienced such a perspective shift around this chore, and I can't take credit for it. I heard it somewhere. I wish I knew the source that I heard it from. If I can find it, I'll link it below. But it's the fact that laundry exists as a cycle, not something to be completed. Your job is to make sure that you have clean clothes, not that you don't ever have dirty ones. My mind was blown when I had that perspective shift, because if you know anything about me, it's that I am constantly trying to just hustle my way through my to-do list. And I love that feeling of like crossing something out and be like, this task is done, dusted, completed, woohoo, move on. And laundry haunts me. I am the person that would literally take the clothes that I am wearing off my body and put a robe on when I'm in that like manic cleaning stage, because I'm like, it's so important to me that every lick of laundry is done in this house. Laundry is not something to be completed. It's a cycle. At any given point, there are clothes in each segment of the cycle, and that's the way it's supposed to exist. All right, number 9 is a big one for me, and it's something that took me way too long to learn and digest and accept, but you're allowed to like something just because you like it. You don't have to have any justification. You don't have to find any like value in it. You're allowed to like it just because it's entertaining or it feels good or it makes you feel a certain kind of way. Like you're just allowed to like it because you like it. Okay, number 10 is something you've probably heard before, but it's worth repeating. Positivity is truly contagious, but so is negativity. So it's important that you choose wisely. And at any given moment, you can choose to look at something with positivity or you can choose to look at it with negativity. And I would just encourage you to think twice before you choose. Okay, number 11 is a lesson I've had to learn over and over and over again, and it's that rest isn't lazy. In fact, it's necessary. And if you don't make time for intentional rest, your body will force it on you. Number 12 is probably the biggest perspective shift I've had. I'm a person who likes to be right. So is my husband. That can cause some friction. And I learned something. Just because you're right doesn't mean the other person is wrong. Let that sink in. Everyone's winging it in some way or another. Not everyone knows what they're doing at all times. It's okay if you don't know what you're doing. The important thing is that you just keep trying and you keep putting one foot in front of the other and discovering what the next right thing is to do. You're never gonna feel like you have it all figured out. Number 14, saying no isn't selfish. In fact, in some cases, it's actually the kindest thing you can do. Number 15, it's only failure if you give up. Otherwise, you've just figured out another way it won't work. The next one is that everything is temporary. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And that mindset really helped me in seasons of struggle and tough times, but it's also really encouraged me to cherish the really good ones. Okay, this next one is one that I learned recently, and it again just kind of blew my mind. The only thing that is real is this exact moment. Everything else, the past and the future, only exist in your imagination. Just because it's time to move on from something doesn't mean it wasn't good, it wasn't valuable, and it wasn't important for a specific season of your life. And that can be true for jobs, relationships, locations, all of the above. You can outgrow people and situations. In fact, a lot of times you should outgrow certain people, certain relationships, certain locations, and certain jobs. Number 19 kind of sucks, but it's just the plain honest truth. Drinking enough water actually does make a difference in how you feel. It just does. I know it sucks. I wish other things made us feel that good, but it does actually matter that you stay hydrated. Number 20 is a big one. Your past doesn't have to dictate your future. You can change at any given moment for any given reason, as long as you set the intention, take action, and remain consistent. 21, simple but true. Be wary of comfort zones. They choke out growth. You set the tone for how you're treated, either by what you allow or how you treat others. There's an enormous difference between being nice and being kind. Number 24 is one that has offered me a lot of comfort as I've been on this journey. If it's meant for you, you cannot mess it up. If it's not meant for you, you cannot make it work. And number 25, the last one, happiness is an inside job. I'm curious to know if any of these are things that you're just learning or you recently learned, or if they are things that you think, oh my gosh, I wish I would have known that sooner. That's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thank you again for being here. Subscribe if you like hanging out with me. I post videos on Mondays and Thursdays, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.